Hi, everybody. PJ Kwong from CBC Sports with guess who? Joannie Rochette. Okay, Joannie, I've got you locked here in a back hallway, but I want to talk about Worlds. So, Amélie Lacoste is going to be Canada's representative at the World Championships. Have you ever been in a situation where you have been the only Canadian lady at Worlds?
I'm not sure, actually. I think every time I went, there were two ladies. But yeah, it's always added pressure when you're there, the only representative of your country, and you know you have to make the top 10 to get two ladies for next year. So it is a lot of pressure, but I think Amélie is doing good. She had a good season so far, some ups, some downs, but she's got the goods, and I wish her the best at the Worlds this year.
So, you know, lots of people go on and on and on about the state of ladies in Canadian skating, and I want to challenge the public to really think about lots of other countries. I mean, when was the last time that England produced a lady skater? You know what I mean? So I just think that it's possibly unfair. Is the idea of not having strength in women's skating, is it a Canadian thing? Is it a universal thing? Or is it just a skating thing?
Well, we have some strong lady skaters in Canada, but it's tough when you go to the World Championships. There's so many countries that produce great lady skaters nowadays, the Japanese, the Koreans, some skaters from Mexico, from England, as you said, so it's very strong, especially in ladies, because a lot of little girls skate when they're young, so there's a big depth of good skaters around the world. We definitely have great skaters in Canada, and I mean it's difficult when you get to that competition to be an elite athlete, and but it is true we've had a lot of male skaters like Elvis, Kurt Browning, Patrick Chan, Jeff Buttle, Brian Orser. We've got many role models in men's and not as many in women's, and I did feel that when I was climbing up the ranks, and it's not easy when you're the only representative of your country and you don't necessarily have anyone else to take the lead from. Yeah, but I don't know why I don't have an answer to that.
Well, actually, that's a great answer, because it sort of brings the fact that we see, you're right, lots of competitive girls when they're very young. At what point does it change for skaters? Is there an age? Like, is it once they hit puberty? Is it at the end of high school? I mean, when did you go from being a competitive skater sort of locally to a much more serious competitor?
I think it all starts when you're in Canada, when you're maybe 13, 14 years old, when you start high school. There's many programs now that offer you the chance to go to school in the morning and practice your sport in the afternoon. I was lucky to do that, but even that is a bit later, because when you look at the Japanese, for instance, I did my double axel when I was 10. In Canada, it's quite young, but if you compare to like Mao Waseda, she probably could do all of her triples by the time she was 10. So there's a big gap for that, but at the same time, it doesn't stop you from, even after you hit puberty. I hit puberty when I was fairly young, and I did most of my triple jumps after it, and it's not true that you cannot improve after it. I mean, some skaters are late bloomers, and I was older when I won my medal at the Olympics. I was 24, and some ladies are barely 16. So it is possible. You look at Shizuka Arakawa, who won when she was also a bit older than some of the other girls. So it is possible.
It just kind of depends, it seems, on how somebody grows and how they develop.
And sometimes it's even better when you start learning your triple jumps after puberty, because then you don't have to worry about your body changing afterwards and losing the jumps.
Do you remember skating at World Championships? Was it nerve-wracking? Did you like it?
The first World Championships I went to was in 2003 in Washington, right after the September 11 crash
Terrorist,
that happened. Yeah. Yes, Michelle Kwong was competing then. It was my first competition in the senior rank at World Championships. Michelle Kwong was there. She had the skate of her life, and that's pretty much all of I remember. I don't even remember how I did. I think I was 15 or 16th place. It was okay for me, but I didn't really feel that I belonged because I couldn't do all the triple jumps back then. I still felt like a junior in my mind. But the following year was much better. I came 8th, and the first time I made the top 10. It's kind of a very important number, because when you make the top 10, you can retain the two ladies for your country the following year. So that's when I felt that I fulfill my task, let's say. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure that you feel. Not necessarily people put it on you, but you want to do good for your country. So yeah, there's a lot of pressure.
Do you miss competing?
Yes, I really do. I miss competing, but I don't miss the stress of it, but in a way I do. It's funny, I do one competition a year at the Japan Open, and every year that I've been doing it since the Olympics, because it's my only competition of the year, I'm like, oh my God, why did I even accept that? I'm way too nervous. Next year, for sure, I will say no, and I keep doing it. So I must like it. It must be something about it I like. But when you compete only once a year, you kind of lose the rhythm of the Grand Prix circuit, because you do 2 or 3 Grand Prix, then you go to national, for continents, worlds, you get ready for it, and the more you do, the less nervous you feel. But now when I go back to competition, I feel a little bit more nervous, yeah.
Do you know, I know you've told me that you're leaving your options open for the 2014 season and the Sochi Olympics, but are you keeping your eye on competition and sort of who's skating? Is there anybody that's jumped out at you that you're sort of thinking, going to keep my eye on that one?
Yes, for sure. At Japan Open, there was a young Elizaveta
Tuktamisheva.
I can't pronounce her last name yet. She was only 14 years old, and she did a really great program. She won. She beat me. So of course, when you see that, you're like, wow, okay, then maybe I don't want to come back. But at the same time, you watch at the rest of the field, and there's some great skaters out there, but I still feel that I could be competitive somehow. But it's hard to evaluate, because I've already achieved one of my biggest goals, to stand on the Olympic podium. Maybe I would like to go and maybe just being a part of the team event. I don't know yet if that's even possible, so we'll see.
And 10 years from now, what will you be doing?
I hope I will have a family and have a more settled down life in Montreal.
That is wonderful. Any wishes for the Canadian team at Worlds?
Yeah, I've been following them this season at Nationals and at 4 continents. We've had a great team. The dance event was especially strong, and I've been following Patrick. Every year he sets the bar higher, and he delivers, and I'm so impressed by that. So it's fun to watch from an outside perspective, because when you go to competition and you're competing, you don't really have the chance to appreciate that. But I've been following him this year. I think he's got great stuff, so I wish him the best of luck. And Our Lady, Amelie, I've been training with her for a couple of years, and it's going to be the first time she goes to Worlds as the only representative for Canada. And she deserved that place. She fought hard at Nationals at 4 continents, so I just wish that she can enjoy it and have a good skate.
Joannie Rochette, thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you.